Good morning. I hope you're well today. I'm going to share with you some basic hand reflexology techniques. So we'll begin today working on the area related to the head. So to begin with, wash your hands. I'm sure you're all very used to doing this at the moment. By the way, if your hands are becoming quite dry from the overwashing and the use of anti-bac and sanitizer, get in touch. I can make you an aromatherapy blend that can help with the dry skin that you may be experiencing on your hands. So yes, starting with clean hands. You don't need to use anything in particular, but if you do feel that your fingers aren't moving across the skin very easily, you can use some oil, some moisturizer. You could use some reflexology wax. Okay, so also the other thing is important to be comfortable. In reflexology, we use a technique known as thumb walking. I'll just show you what that is. So you get the thumb and you press down the top of your thumb, and then you straighten the thumb and just move a tiny, tiny bit forwards, and then you press down again. So you're moving millimeters at a time. Just seeing what the best angle for you to see this action is. So you're pressing in and then straightening the thumb. Okay, so it can take a bit of getting used to. Might feel a bit much on the thumb joint initially, but it gets easier with time. You can also use your finger if that's easier for you. So you push in and then you release. You push in and then release. Okay, so that's the thumb walking technique that we're going to use throughout this presentation. But first of all, just feeling into your hands. These wonderful things that do so much for you every day. How much attention do you ever give them? Okay, so just warming them up, maybe stretching through the fingers, moving, just feeling into your hands. So each of the fingers, in terms of reflexology, are related to the head. So you can start on whichever hand feels more natural to you. I'm going to start on my left hand using the right thumb. So you need to support the hand that's being worked on with your other hand, or perhaps you could rest it on your leg in some way. And on the fingers, we're going to imagine that each finger has 4 lines. Okay, so they're quite close, but they're 4 imaginary lines going down each of the fingers. So beginning at the top of your first line, so the outside of your little finger, you're going to press in and release. 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 So just tiny little movements all the way down. Okay, so each of the fingers are related to the head, and the little finger in particular is related also to your ear. So whichever hand you're working on, it's the same ear that you're affecting. So working on my left little finger, I'm affecting my left ear. And also the sinus area. Okay, so keep moving along to each of the imaginary lines, working all the way to the whole of the little finger is covered. And once you've done all 4 lines on the finger, you can come up to the center pad, so you can use another finger and just push in the center there. Push in here. So stimulating brain activity at the tops of the fingers, and also, like I've mentioned, the sinus area. So you might want to give the very tip of the finger a little bit of extra attention. Okay, and then moving to the next finger, starting at the very top on the outside. So I'm holding my hands up like this for you to be able to see, but ideally you should be supporting your hand and working like this. Okay. So you may notice some little grainy, crystally sensations under the skin. And in terms of reflexology, we say that these crystals identify an area of imbalance. So we don't diagnose any sickness as such. And all that we would recommend is that you spend a bit of extra time in those areas. Also, as you're receiving this treatment, you're going to get two different forms of feedback. So the thumb doing the work may notice the sensations of crystals under the thumb, but also the finger that's being worked on, you may notice some areas that feel a little bit more sensitive, tender, almost like a bruising sensation. Okay, so you don't want to hurt yourself. There's no need. It's not the idea that the more it hurts, the greater the therapeutic effect. That's not certainly how I work, although I know other people do. So really, when you're working on yourself, especially, be intuitive. If it feels nice, if it feels soothing, keep doing it. If you're making yourself uncomfortable, then there's no need. Just ease off the pressure a little bit. Okay, so that finger we've worked is also associated with the ear, the sinus area, the head, and the brain. So moving on to let's do the pad again. So the very tip of that finger, so in the center of the pad, you can either do some more thumb walking, you can go in the other direction if you like, or you can press in and release, and it's a kind of a hooking back action. You press in and then pull the finger back slightly. And see how this feels for you. And we're going to the middle finger. As this technique becomes more natural to you, you can probably begin to speed the action up. I'm just moving around, getting used to making sure you can see what I'm doing. I welcome any feedback, as this is totally new for me to do. If there's any constructive criticism you can give me, I shall welcome that. So we're moving on to the middle finger now, which is again also the head area, the brain, the sinuses, but particularly around the left eye as I'm working my left middle finger. So this technique is safe for most people. I would say that if you are, so just changing fingers because it's a bit awkward using my thumb and showing you at the same time. So if you are undergoing any treatment and you have a healthcare practitioner, I would just speak to them, ask them if it's safe for you to do this yourself. Generally, I'd say it's safe for most people. If you are epileptic, maybe get some permission from a GP to do this. Okay, so I'm just working the pad of that middle finger. And then we're moving to the first finger, working down that first imaginary line, the first of 4 lines, all the way down to the very base. Better. So, this could be helpful if you are suffering with headaches, if you are feeling particularly tense or anxious. I think it's hard to avoid collective stress at the moment, and this often is manifested in an over active mind, repetitive thoughts. Again, I'm using my first finger on the outside. Yes, okay, the speed doesn't matter, it's just obviously and it depends on how much time you have. But the beauty with this treatment, coming up to the pad of the finger, look in and out, in and out, in and out. Just give it a little bit of extra work so I can feel a little gristly sensation there. So I like to actually push into that area and then slide my thumb along. So I lost my train of thought there. I can't remember what I was about to say. I'm sure it will come back. Oh yeah, the beauty of this is that you can do it anywhere. You know, you could just be sitting on the train, hands under your desk at work, and just, you know, just feeling your fingers basically. But also, it's nice to do it in a therapeutic way, the nice comfortable setting, relaxing music, you know, and just make it part of your self-care practice, maybe after or in a nice relaxing bath. So the thumb, the very tip of the thumb, we have some endocrine glands there, the pineal and pituitary glands. So if you're pregnant, I would avoid pushing into the tip of the thumb, just to be extra. And that's particularly in the first few months of pregnancy. We don't want to stimulate the cervix before time. Okay, so if you're not pregnant, coming up to that pad, looking in and releasing, looking in and releasing, in and pulling back. Okay, you may want to just give that area a little bit of extra work across the top of the thumb, really soothing that busy brain of yours. Okay, and once we've done that, we're going to come back to the little finger and supporting the hand underneath, and then using the thumb, we're just going to do some nice relaxing effleurage movements coming up, the little finger, sorry. You may want to just pull all the way along, pushing in as you pull. And then you may want to just give a little flick, get rid of any of that negative energy that's been circulating and stagnating in your body. Okay, then coming back to the next finger, doing some nice relaxing circular movements all the way along that finger. Okay, so it's working the sinus area when you get to the top. The whole finger is very much related to your ear, pulling along the entire finger, sides. So you see in different reflexology charts for the hand and feet that there are slightly different methods, and different methods place different parts of the body, you know, differently on the map. But do you know what? I just don't worry too much about how specific it is. We're working the head here. For me personally, I feel a sense of relaxation when I do this. It's, you know, relieved. I can feel the tension being relieved. You know, you decide what works for you. Don't just believe that this works. Lots of people think it's, you know, very woo-woo. I've been practicing it for 15 years and it just never ceases to amaze me how what I can feel in the feet and the hands really does correlate to what's going on in somebody's body. Well, that which we know of. We don't really know what's going on inside of our bodies a lot of the time. Yeah, so you know, judge it by how you feel. How does it make you feel? If you don't feel anything, then, you know, it's not for you. flicking off. Don't flick off those other ones. And then finally coming to the thumb. Nice deep circles. Okay, so that's my left hand done. I'm feeling some tingling, some aliveness, some warmth. My fingers feel a little bit more mobile than they did at the beginning. So yeah, that's good. So the other hand. So the same thing, we're imagining 4 lines down each of the fingers. Going to support the hand and using the thumb, start walking down the finger. So you may be able to pick up a little bit of speed now. Like I say, when you feel something different, something draws your attention, whether it be a bumpy, granular sensation, or just you can feel more sensitivity, allow yourself to come back onto that area and give it some extra attention. So I'm working on my right ear as well as the head area, sinuses. Okay, and then the next finger. I'm walking with my thumb, getting a little bit faster, but keeping the movement ever so small so that every little millimetre of the finger is covered. You know, and just if it feels a bit difficult on your thumb, that's to be expected. You know, I've been doing this for many years, so my thumbs are used to it. You can swap over, use your finger if you need to. Remember to support your hand, whatever you're doing. I'm just, for demonstration purposes, being a little bit awkward here. But hopefully you get the idea. So these methods are really beautiful ways to begin to understand how the body communicates with us, with you. Your body communicates with you. Middle finger now, sinus at the top of the finger, and the whole finger relating to my right eye, my head, my brain. The brain particularly is at the top of the fingers. And what I haven't mentioned is that when we get down to the base here, we start to get into the neck, and especially on the thumb. I'll wait till we get to the thumb. But when we get to the base of the finger, you're starting to reach into that neck area. And just be aware, you know, because you're doing something new, it's quite possible that your whole posture is a little bit awkward. So, you know, you don't want to create more problems whilst you're trying to release tension in your body. You don't want to be adding to it through bad posture. So, you know, if you can, have your feet on the floor, just notice your shoulders nice and relaxed. And notice if you're breathing. We tend to hold our breath if we're concentrating. You know, this all will become more natural over time. Just pulling along finger, pressing into those pads. And then coming to the first finger. If I'm doing it on myself without being on camera, I often work from the base up. So you can play around with it. There's no right or wrong. And, let your body be your guide. If it's feeling beneficial, if it feels good, keep doing it. If it doesn't, don't. I mean, when it comes to areas of sensitivity, I wouldn't say, let that be a reason to stop. Just don't go too hard on that area. Be gentle with yourself. Like the last video that I did was all very much about compassionate towards yourself, being compassionate. And so part of that is by not hurting yourself. Seems quite obvious, but it's amazing how hard we are on ourselves without even realizing it. And you can press, release, circle into the pads, the fingers, and then coming down to the thumb. The base of the thumb is where we say relates to the neck and the thyroid. So you might want to give some extra attention to the base of the thumb. I said I like to push in and just draw the finger or thumb along any areas of crunchiness. And it doesn't mean that you've got an overactive or underactive thyroid in that area. It could mean so many things, and you can interpret things in all sorts of different ways, but you know your body best. So if you can make sense of it, then that's helpful. And if not, it's nothing to worry about, And what you should notice is that when you spend a bit of extra time and attention on an area of crystal crunchiness, of discomfort, after a while, that feeling subsides. So you ease the tension in that area. There are so many different explanations to how this works. I don't think we really know. It could be through the neural pathways, could be through energy pathways, meridians, could be affecting the fascia and creating better communication through the fascia system. No. Okay, and that pad of the thumb, again, avoid if you're pregnant, especially in the first trimester, because we're affecting the pituitary gland up here, and if you move around, you're getting into the pineal gland also. So, master hormone glands. Mine feels like a little pea there at the moment, so I'm just giving it some extra attention. And then coming back to those effleurage movements all the way. Pushing in and making a circle. And then if you want to put pressure and pull, just give a little flick as you come off. Experiment, there's no set right and wrong way. These are the techniques that we're taught as reflexologists. You may find something that feels better. Please share it if that's the case. Be intuitive, be guided by your body. Enjoy the experience, really, allow yourself to be connected to your body, to be connected to the sensations, to the feedback your body is giving you. All of these little ways help us to become more aware of the needs of our body so that we can react in time before conditions get chronic. Again, my shoulders, I notice, are starting to come up. Relaxing the shoulders, sitting back, back supported. Notice if I'm breathing. Really helps to breathe. Flick. Don't flick at somebody, flick down into the earth. The beautiful earth is able to absorb all these energies flying around, circling all the way along the finger, and then pulling and flicking. And then finally the thumb. Come down to that base of the thumb, just give some extra attention to that neck, throat, thyroid area. Twisting all the way along the thumb, flicking off. There you go. How do you feel? How are your hands feeling? I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it gave you some relief to any tension that you may be feeling, maybe helped you relax a little bit. If you can rest now, that would be ideal. Drink plenty of water, preferably warm water with some herbs added or lemon. Rest if possible, but just notice how you're feeling. It seems like quite insignificant what you've done, but the effects can be quite deep actually, and quite powerful, and can continue throughout the day and even the next day. So just be aware. If you don't feel great and you're not sure about it, feel free to get in touch with me. My